The Black Howler. The air in the Florida Everglades hangs thick and heavy, not just with humidity, but with something ancient, something that predates the gators and the cypress knees. A primordial fear that sinks into your very bones like the swamp itself. Folks around here whisper about him, usually late at night after a few too many beers at the local bait shop. The Black Howler. The swamp come alive. Jesse had heard the stories all of his life. His grandpa, a man I know, a man who feared nothing. With scales or fangs, he would turn pale when the topic of the full moon came up. "There's things out there, boy," he would grumble. "Things the sun don't shine on. Best stay clear when the moon's high." And that feeling takes hold. Jesse was a self-proclaimed skeptic, always scoffing. That is, until the summer of '98, when he was out on a solo airboat tour, deep in a forgotten slough. He swore no one else knew about it. The sun was a blood-orange disk, and it was sinking fast, painting the sky in fiery streaks. If you've ever been in the Everglades, you would know the beauty of that sky. He should have turned back hours ago, and that's when he felt it, a strange tremor in the water, not from the boat's engine, but from below. Then a scent, raw, primal, like wet dog and something else, something metallic like fresh blood. He cut the engine. The silence that descended was heavier than the humid air, broken only by the distant buzz of insects. Then it started. A low, guttural growl that wasn't a gator. It wasn't a panther. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, vibrating through the very hull of his boat. His skin prickled and the hair on the back of his neck went up. He scanned the dense sawgrass. Nothing but the feeling. It was like being watched, like being hunted. And then, just beyond a cluster of mangroves, something moved. Not a ripple, but a definite shift in the shadows. He strained his eyes, and that's when he saw them. Two glowing yellow eyes, impossibly bright in the deepening twilight. They weren't round like an alligator's or slit like a cat's. They were human-shaped, disturbing, but feral, utterly wild. A large, dark shape detached itself from the shadows, moving with unnatural fluidity. It wasn't walking, it was loping, a strange and powerful gait that ate up the ground, faster than anything Jesse had ever seen. Bear or panther or boar. As it moved into a sliver of moonlight, his blood ran cold. It was impossibly tall, covered in coarse, black, matted fur the color of the swamp mud. Its limbs were too long, its shoulders too broad, and its head was a nightmare of canine and human features, culminating in a wide, slavering maw. It wasn't a bear. It wasn't a gator. It was a creature from his grandpa's stories, from his nightmares, a werewolf. The beast stopped at the edge of the water, its head tilted, sniffing the air. Jesse fumbled for the starter, his hands slick with sweat. The engine coughed, sputtered, and then died, like something from a horror movie. The werewolf's head snapped up, its glowing eyes locked onto him, and a low snarl ripped from its throat, a sound of pure, unadulterated hunger. It launched itself into the water, a massive splash that sent spray high into the air. Jesse could hear the powerful strokes of its limbs and his own heartbeat. As it closed the distance quickly, he grabbed a rusty fishing spear, his only defense, a gig that he used for mullet. He could see the gleam of the werewolf's teeth, long and pointed. In the dim light, he could smell its rank and musky odor, overpowering the very scent of the swamp. Just as it reached the side of its boat, its claws began to scrape against the aluminum hull. A blinding flash of lightning split the sky, followed by a thunderclap that shook everything around it. For a split second, just a second, the creature was illuminated, Jesse said, its horrifying features stark against the stormy backdrop. And then, as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone, swallowed by the darkness and the sudden downpour. Jesse never went back to that area of the swamp. He doesn't scoff at the old stories anymore either. And every full moon, you better believe, He stays indoors, listening to the wind howl, wondering if that low, guttural sound he sometimes hears, carried on the humid Florida air, is just the wind, or is it something else entirely? Could it be him or her, the black howler of the Florida Everglades? Stories of Florida werewolves in the swamps have persisted for centuries. And an interesting side note, the year was 1908, and that's when the Florida black wolf was officially declared extinct. Could it be the reason for the myths? Possibly. Or is there something else haunting the swamp? Maybe Bigfoot's cousin, the skunk ape. What do you friends think?